Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. And inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the 15 best brawlers to max out in this season. So I haven't done this type of video in a couple of months, and of course you guys really want to know who's best to put your resources into. So of course a lot of it is to do with what is meta, but also kind of anticipating what brawlers won't get absolutely killed with any recent balance changes. So we're going to be diving into the first one, which is Gene. Gene is always one of my favorites because for the casuals, and when you look at the data, Gene is never like crazy in terms of win rate or usage rate, but in a competitive mindset he's always at least 80. So the reason being is because he's such a safe pair of hands, no pun intended, inside of bounty and knockout. Essentially you can just easily keep on top of the opponents with any type of grassy map with the vision gear, and then you could just hold your pull for majority of the game and easily confirm kills a lot of time. Bounty knockout, again, absolutely insane. Gem grab, he's actually one of the best gem carriers right now. So just going to show how good he is in the meta. You don't even need his hype charge as well. That's the amazing thing. Hype charge is just only good for that movement speed boost. But yeah, you just need vision gear and make sure you got magic puffs, and then you're good to go. So moving on to the next brawler who you should definitely max out this season is Stu, and he's been the revelation this season because a lot of people anticipated him being better, but I don't think a lot anticipated him being an S tier brawler. He absolutely is right now. I know a lot of people wasn't agreeing with me in the recent tier list, but he definitely is. So you should max him out. The good thing about Stu, he's good everywhere outside of knockout and bounty. Of course, he does get outranged there, but still I've seen him being used to counter, I don't know, like Max and other archetypes. But anyways, he's going to be really good in hot zone with the speed turret. He's going to be really good in brawl ball and gem grab with either gadget. So that's the good thing about Stu as well, that you don't necessarily have to buy a gadget or star power. If you've just got either of them, it's good. To be honest, Gassy Hill is the better star power overall, but both of them are really good and valuable. But the great thing about him in this meta is definitely the hype charge. The hype charge can allow you to make so many game-changing plays. Again, you're not going to go around making absolute insane team wipes or anything, but you can just get so much pressure on the map. You can create plays, create space, create opportunities, and that's what Stu is all about. And if you have infinite supers, you're just going to take over the whole map. So for me, he absolutely is a must max out. Next up on the must max out list, we have Juju, and again, another underrated brawler. Some people somehow not agreeing or seeing that she's S tier at least minimum. For me, she's easily a top 3 brawler in the game. Whenever I get my hands on her in ranked, she just dominates any map with grass, which is a lot of them right now. She's going to dominate, and I'm actually starting to use her a lot with the gadget that enables you to like go invisible, and it enables you to get speed boost over the water. That gadget is just so underrated. It's the invisibility aspect which I just find her so toxic with, because it's a throw that goes invis. Not a lot of people expect it, and then you can just triple tap a lot of opponents by being sneaky. It's just insane. And of course, my favorite thing is of course when she's inside of a grass, you can shoot longer than Piper, which on some maps she's literally impossible to push into. Pair that with her super, which is good against aggro brawlers, she's good to go. The only thing about it is that she can get countered early on without a super, but once you just get one and cycle it, she's basically untouchable. Next brawler must absolutely max out for this season is Belle, and I bet you guys are probably tired of me for saying Belle, even though you don't really need any of her star powers or gadgets, to be honest. I mean, they're nice, they don't really change her. Just Belle as a fundamental brawler is really, really strong. So literally throughout this whole season in the, well, not season, year in the meta, she's been one of the most picked brawlers in competitive. And the good thing about it, you can play her everywhere. As long as the map is a little bit open, you can play her in all 6 game modes, providing that she's just going to always get you some good value. I mean, she doesn't really have any tough matchups. If she does have a tough matchup, you can switch over to the grounded star power, for example. You've got a really good gadget to confirm your kills with Nest Egg. And of course, the shield star power just enables you to slowly push your way up to the map. She's great at countering so many different brawlers, and I don't think really there's a couple of snipers that might have a good matchup against her, but overall she's super consistent, always will be at least B tier in the meta. Next brawler must absolutely max out for this meta is Gus, and boy am I just getting so many free wins in ranked. Still, people don't realize the power of Gus. And of course, it's a couple of things, mainly because a lot of brawlers in the meta got small nerfs. There might have not been big nerfs, but that's just, of course, helps Gus get better. But the damage buff was definitely overlooked in the previous meta. Although he doesn't have a hyper charge, he just deals so much consistent damage as a support brawler. As a sniper, he has a lot of HP as well. Combine that with his shield, with his gadget that can just confirm so many kills. There's just so much to like about Gus, and again, you can pretty much play him everywhere. This is definitely a good meta for snipers like Belle, Byron, and Gus. Again, I'm just taking over right now, and Gus Loki is a really good carry pick as well, so I just like so much about him in this meta. Definitely max him out. Another brawler should absolutely max out in this meta is RT. So another sniper, but boy is RT always consistently A tier. Sometimes he might drop to the B tier, but that's still really good for him. And then he just gets some type of like small buff or like rework like he did recently, where he can go over water, and he just remains in the A tier, absolutely. So the good thing about RT, again, is not many people really understand his true potential. I know he doesn't do a lot of damage, but once you start getting 2-3 taps, you can quickly wipe out some of the biggest HP brawlers in the game. And then you've got to consider as well, his super is so good. It's so dangerous, although it may be very situational. You know, if Assassin wants to get close to you, they're pretty much dead every single time. And a good RT knows how to abuse the shield star power, so he can win so many different matchups. The recent reworked gadget as well just allows him to get free supers and just make more plays and just basically make him the defensive unit that he is. He can be so good as a brawler on hot zone, because on parallel plays, for example, he's just so good in defensive, bounty, knockout. You basically never have to worry about anything aggro because you've got RT. Combined it with other snipers or other brawlers like Gene, etc. He's just a perfect synergy brawler. Absolutely, you must max him out. The next brawler you must absolutely max out is the twins. Larry and Laurie are still absolutely insane. A small HP nerf is not going to affect him whatsoever because it doesn't change the interactions. The fact that his main attack still does a lot of damage. Also, you've got the main projectile. It just controls the map so easily. The super as well, it's able to get a lot of pressure. And the fact that the star power gives you additional ammo once your twin hits anyone, especially assassins. It just makes him so hard to counter because you can play him a knockout and bounty because not many other throwers really beat him in a 1v1 on the longer range maps. Shorter range maps like Pinball Dreams, Brawl Ball, Gem Grab, where you see a lot of aggro assassins or just high HP lanes, Larry can deal with that again because he has a star power that gives you additional ammo. He can just cycle through super so quickly. The HP nerf did nothing. He's still at least an A tier brawler. So for the most maxed out list, we have Penny. So for this one, you probably do need the hypercharge. Although it doesn't absolutely carry her, it's just a good extension. If you can keep that hypercharge turret in the back, it's going to cause so much pressure. So the reason why it's so good is because if there's not a throw on the enemy team, you can again just control the map so easily. And although it might not always hit someone, it's just always good for zoning. That's just a good thing about Penny's turret. In the past, it used to be really OP on its own, but even if it just hits a certain point, you know they can't go over there because of the ball of fire, then you can just, of course, shoot the other way, and you're always going to guarantee more damage and more damage. She's got a really good gadget as well that can defend her against assassins. And the good thing about Penny, she's pretty useful everywhere, right? Like, she's decent at knockout and bounty, and just good everywhere. Like, she doesn't excel anywhere, except for maybe hot zone she's really good in. So, always consistent. You can pretty much push her everywhere. Just definitely max her out. So, for the most max out list, we have Frank, and he's consistently been an A tier brawler and above since the rework. Even with many nerfs, he's still going to be such a great brawler to have, and I still think it would take a few more nerfs to even tone him down below the A tier, whatever, because that recent mechanic change where you can just wind up your shots so quickly when you're low HP, it's just fundamentally broken. It's so insane how much damage you can put out, especially combined with Power Grab with the gadget that does 50% more damage. And your hypercharger as well. There's just so many stat boosts to him with damage that just makes him absolutely crazy in a 1v1 interaction. For that reason, he's going to be absolutely insane in every game mode except for bounty and knockout. You can still pretty much play him in some maps there. As long as he's got a lot of wall coverage, you can get some good pressure. A good Frank can win a lot of matchups, even against the hardest encounters, because of his rework. He's just insane. So I definitely recommend maxing him out. He's always going to remain meta, in my opinion. Some other lists, we have Amber, and Amber's always this ultra consistent brawler. I don't think she's shun away from the A tier, maybe even B tier this whole year. Just going to show that once she gets a hypercharge, she's going to be very dangerous, because you remember when Amber used to be a little bit faster upon release. Imagine that speed boost with her. So definitely maxing her out in anticipation for a hypercharge could be a good play as well. But still, in this meta, she's an A tier at least. The reason being, again, because she can be played everywhere. She can be played in Heist, Hot Zone, Gem Grab, Brawl Ball. There's hardly ever a bad matchup for Amber, to be honest, because all you need is one super and you can deal a lot of damage. You've got the gadget as well that can defend you against assassins, and that was her only biggest weakness like over a year ago. Once that damage got buffed, she just became an A tier brawler automatically because she's just good at everything. So next up on the list, we have Surge, and again, you're probably bored of me saying Surge, but he really is destroying the meta right now. He's still a top 5 brawler. They nerfed his hypercharge, which pretty much did nothing, and he's still going to be insane. I still think even if they nerfed him a couple of times, he's going to remain one of the best brawlers in the game, mainly just because of the role that he serves in the meta. He can counter so many different aggros, and there's nothing they can do to it. There's no counterplay, I think, until they nerf maybe like his HP again or nerf one of his gadgets. He's always going to be super strong. And again, you can play Surge pretty much everywhere. And the good thing about Surge, he's a great carry pick. He's really fun to play. So there's so many good things about him. I think he'll remain meta at least until the end of the year. The most maxed out list, we have Rico. Rico definitely is one of the carry picks for this season. Again, it is dependent on a good map, especially if you want to carry. But there's so many good maps for Rico, so that shouldn't even be a worry, especially in like Gem Grab. You've got a couple of maps where you can just completely lock down a lane. Hard Rock Mine, for example. Brubble, there's so many good Brubble maps, and with so many tanks, he's just so easy to play and dominate with. You think of Heist as well, and the great thing about him as well is Hypercharge is so incredibly good, and it's pretty unskillful. You can just spam that Hypercharge close to wall, and he'll just deal infinite damage. And another broken thing about him is definitely his multiple launcher gadget. You need this gadget because with it, pretty much no one can take him down. Assassins, Mortis, Edgar, brawlers that could delete him in the past, since the damage buff not too long ago has just made him near enough uncounterable in some ways. The only thing that can counter him is an open map. So for me, Rico is a must max out. Next up on the must max out list, we have Daryl. So another brawler for me where his star powers and gadgets are just okay. So you don't even need to worry about that. His hype charge as well is underwhelming. It's just a recent rework with Daryl that's made him so incredibly good. Of course, 2 supers, 2 chances to get a knockback and confirm kills so easily. And Daryl is one of the tanks where you can play him in pretty much every single situation. He's a great damage dealer in Heist. Gem Grab, great lane, especially against the typical lanes. And then you've also got tank counters. Daryl can counter them as well with his double super. Of course, if you get the hype charge, it's still good for his stat boost and everything like that. In knockout, he's pretty good because once the gas closes in, his super gets so much value. So there, you could literally go through all the game modes and you'd say that Daryl is at least in the A tier. And I just don't think the dev team think Daryl is that good of a brawler either. I don't think the stats really highlight that he's that good. I don't see a lot of people complaining about Daryl, but I think he's easily an S tier brawler. So I would definitely max him out. So for the most max out list, we have Angelo. So he's one of the brawlers that again are sleeping in the meta where he could easily be an S tier brawler. I will say though, if you're probably one of the more casual or one of the newer players, it's a little bit harder to play Angelo. Sometimes I even struggle. Sometimes you need a little bit of good aim and unpredictability. But Angelo as a brawler is so good because on knockout and bounty, of course, having the very fast movement speed, one of the only kind as a sniper, is really good. He's got one of the longest ranges, the highest damage shot near enough outside of Nani. His poison damage as well is the highest damage shot. It can give you the extra healing as well. The hype charge isn't really needed with him, to be honest. He's got 2 good gadgets. There's just so much to like about Angelo, and he's just annoying. It's so hard to kill him because of the healing with his super, the gadget to get away. I find him so frustrating to play against. He's easily an A tier brawler. And lastly, in the must max out list, we have Byron. So again, there's so many brawlers that are just consistently at the top of the meta, but I just can't make a video like this without recommending to max him out because again, he isn't seen as this toxic brawler just yet. If he was considered toxic, they wouldn't have reverted that bug. So essentially his shots went from 9 hits to super to 10. They then reverted this 10 to 9. If they thought he was toxic, they probably would have just left him, right? They wouldn't have reverted that bug. So to me, I think he's, again, one of these brawlers that you can play everywhere. As long as you've got good aim, especially you're able to heal up your teammates, you're going to be good. As long as you're using the booster gadgets, which enables you to cycle your super much quicker and effectively, you're going to be good to go. Malaise as well, one of the best star powers in the game. So underrated, but so annoying to face off against. It just stops their enemy's health regen for like nearly 10 seconds, which is an insane mechanic. There's so much to like about Byron. You need to max him out because I think he's going to stay meta for a long time, and he still hasn't got a hypercharge. So for that reason, yeah, absolutely max him out. So that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down in the comment section below whether I missed out on any, and I'll see you guys next time.